Though often seen as their primary antagonist, Magneto has joined forces with the X-Men as frequently as he has opposed them. Through the continuous fluctuations of their rapport, he has formed a particularly deep connection with one member of the X-Men, Storm. Storm's receptiveness to Magneto's ideas, even when they were highly radical, fostered a deep mutual respect that stemmed from their initial interactions. The era of Krakoa further solidified their camaraderie as these two influential figures in mutant society assumed the role of leaders for the mutants of Arakko. Yet their efforts were abruptly halted when Magneto perished during the conflict between mutant kind and the Eternals. Facing the looming destruction of Krakoa, Storm courageously set forth into the unknown to retrieve the Master of Magnetism from the afterlife, hoping he could aid in averting the dire fate befalling mutant kind. Magneto's first encounter with Storm occurred in Uncanny X-Men 1963, issue 104. Continuing his resistance against the X-Men, a rejuvenated Magneto drew the team's latest members to Muir Island to evaluate their capabilities. This was one of the squad's initial missions, and Magneto swiftly defeated the all-new, all-different X-Men. Nonetheless, from their very first confrontation during this intense skirmish, Magneto was taken aback by Storm's prowess. Regrettably, her abilities were not yet honed enough to stop Magneto from effortlessly turning her lightning strikes back against her. Storm's opportunity for a rematch arrived swiftly. In Uncanny X-Men 1963, issue 112, Magneto ensnared the X-Men within his volcanic stronghold in Antarctica. Aware of Magneto's capability to manipulate her lightning, Storm chose to unleash a fierce blizzard upon him instead. Had it not been for her solemn promise to never claim a life, she might have defeated him. However, the frigid environment only amplified Magneto's powers, allowing him to overpower her with ease. Once again, Magneto overcame the X-Men, yet it was evident that Storm was among those who could nearly match his immense strength. In Uncanny X-Men 1963, issue 150, the X-Men breached Magneto's stronghold in the Bermuda Triangle to thwart his plan of initiating a global nuclear strike, marking a pivotal change in the relationship between Storm and Magneto. Finding Magneto asleep in his quarters, Storm glimpsed the person behind the mask for the first time. Confronted with the gravity of the situation, Storm contemplated killing Magneto while he was asleep by cutting his throat with a knife to end his threat, but realized that despite their conflicts, he was a person deeply influenced by his past, sharing more similarities with her than either fully appreciated. As Storm thought about whether she should kill him instantly or not, Magneto awakened and hit Storm with a blast that sent her reeling into space. Leveraging her past encounters with him, Storm strategically reduced the air pressure around Magneto, weakening him. While he respected her bravery, Magneto managed to harness the force of the storm she created to his benefit. The ongoing saga between the X-Men and their long-standing adversary reached a climactic conclusion when Magneto furiously attacked Kitty Pryde. Believing he had killed the youngest and newest member of the X-Men, Magneto was struck with horror and painful memories of his tragic childhood in Auschwitz. Before departing, he shared his remorse with Storm, who noticed a significant shift in his demeanor. From that point, Magneto moderated his aggressive tendencies significantly, re-establishing his friendship with Professor X and aligning himself with the X-Men. Conversely, Storm adopted a tougher stance upon assuming leadership of the X-Men. When Professor X departed for Shi'ar space, he appointed Magneto as the head of the school. With Magneto as headmaster and Storm as field leader, they steered both the X-Men and the New Mutants through some of their most challenging times, including the harrowing mutant massacre. Their method of protecting mutant kind was more pragmatically flexible than Professor Xavier's, allowing them to take assertive measures. In New Mutants 1983 issue 51, they even joined the notorious Hellfire Club, sharing the title of White King to leverage the club's extensive resources. They devised an audacious strategy to feign the X-Men's deaths, enabling them to work clandestinely and confront their adversaries without restriction. During these perilous times, Magneto and Storm worked well together. Regrettably, Magneto later reverted to his more malevolent tactics, leading to a renewed conflict with Storm on opposing sides in the battle for mutant kind's future. When mutant kind was nearly wiped out and the survivors consolidated on the island refuge known as Utopia, Magneto and Storm came together again under Cyclops' leadership in what was termed the Extinction Team. This formidable group aimed to demonstrate mutant power by addressing major global threats, serving as a powerful example of their capabilities. In Uncanny X-Men 2011 issue 1, Magneto and Storm debated their divergent strategies regarding their mission. Magneto reveled in their demonstration of power, whereas Storm lamented the X-Men's current trajectory, aware that Cyclops was veering dangerously close to betraying their foundational principles. Her concerns were validated during the crossover event, Avengers vs. X-Men 2012, when 5 members of the X-Men, including Cyclops, were possessed by the Phoenix Force. As observers, Storm and Magneto saw their comrades, despite their noble goals, succumb to the intoxicating influence of their newfound cosmic abilities. Storm then decided to support the Avengers in their effort to subdue Cyclops. Magneto also switched allegiance, joining Storm in confronting their erstwhile leader in the climactic showdown of the event. Following the collapse of Utopia, Storm affiliated herself with Wolverine at the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning, while Magneto chose to side with Cyclops in his revolutionary endeavors. After enduring numerous trials together, they reached a profound mutual comprehension before separating in Avengers vs. X-Men Consequences, 2012 issue 4. This understanding proved invaluable years later, when they were both looked to for leadership during the crisis involving the Terrigen Mist and Inhumans vs. X-Men 2016. Upon the establishment of the mutant nation of Krakoa, both Storm and Magneto were naturally appointed to its governing body, the Quiet Council. Navigating the uncertainties of mutant leadership together once again, they became esteemed leaders in the burgeoning society of Krakoa, holding a guarded hope for its prosperity. Yet, as the foundations of Krakoa began to falter, they became enthralled with a different mutant society, Arakko. Arakko, a primal mutant civilization, returned to Earth after enduring a millennia of conflict in a demonic realm. In Planet Size, X-Men 2021 issue 1, Storm and Magneto, together with their Omega-level mutant peers, established a haven for these ancient kin by transforming Mars and renaming it Arakko. The continuous strife had shaped Arakko's distinct societal norms and laws, centered around competitive trials and duels. Displaying a disdain for weakness and help, they rejected the eternal life that Krakoa extended to all mutants. In spite of these cultural differences, Storm emerged as a representative for both Arakko and Krakoa in cosmic diplomacy, striving for a position on the Great Ring, Arakko's equivalent to Krakoa's Quiet Council. Disenchanted with Krakoa's vision, Magneto shifted his base to Arakko in X-Men Red 2022 issue 1. Seeking a tranquil existence, he initially resisted involvement, but could not deny Storm's plea to assist in forming a new Brotherhood of Mutants. This group was dedicated to safeguarding Arakko while honoring its cultural ethos. Joining forces under her leadership, Magneto also earned his place on the Great Ring. Together, they shielded Arakko from external influences while adapting to its traditions, even going so far as to opt out of Krakoa's life-giving resurrection protocols to maintain their positions on the Great Ring. During the mutant conflict with the Eternals and Axe, Judgment Day 2022, a fierce assault was launched on Arakko, involving Thanos' grandfather, Uranos. Freed temporarily from captivity, Uranos deployed his infamous array of war machines and directly confronted the Great Ring in X-Men Red 2022 issue 5. As Storm dealt with the Eternals' attack on Krakoa, Uranos dominated the Great Ring and brutally ripped Magneto's heart out. Despite this severe injury, Magneto skillfully manipulated the iron in his bloodstream to remain alive long enough to prevent Arakko's destruction. The situation improved dramatically upon Storm's return. Where previously their abilities clashed, they now synchronized flawlessly. In an unprecedented collaboration, Storm's lightning maintained the flow of Magneto's blood, and together, they neutralized Uranos' most formidable armaments. After their counterattack on Uranos, Magneto eventually died from his injury. As he passed away in Storm's arms, he cautioned her about Professor X's potential to sacrifice them in his bid to protect humanity, a forewarning that tragically materialized in X-Men Hellfire Gala 2023. The heroic last stand of Storm and Magneto motivated several members of the Great Ring to reconsider their perspectives, precipitating a civil war on Arakko. Emerging victorious from the conflict, Storm committed anew to rekindling hope among Earth's mutants, beginning with the revival of the man she now refers to as Max in the Resurrection of Magneto story arc.